Is it possible for Bianca Belair to execute a heel turn? We will be delving further into that issue today because it is both an intriguing question and an equally fascinating subject to explore. Taking a broader view of Bianca Belair, it's reasonable to argue that 2025 has become one of the most peculiar and unpredictable years in her career to yet. She looked extremely strong at the start of the year and seemed poised for yet another moment that would define her career. At the time, it appeared like her victory in the Women's Elimination Chamber match was intended to set the stage for the long-awaited dream match between Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. People had been hoping for this collision. For years, fans had talked about it on social media, podcasts, and forums. In interviews, Bianca and Rhea had hinted at the possibility. With their distinct yet complementary skills, they were the two most formidable female athletes in the WWE. And it seemed fated that this clash would ultimately take place on WrestleMania, the biggest stage of all. The thrill was in speculating about how these two legendary personalities would work together under the spotlight, how their chemistry would develop in real time, and what sort of classic they would produce. It appeared to be inevitable. Then, as is frequently the case with WWE, they took a totally other turn. The business made a significant reversal rather than providing us with the traditional Bianca versus Rhea confrontation. After being added to the narrative, Io Sky shocked everyone by defeating Rhea Ripley for the title in a Monday Night Raw broadcast. The outcome was unexpected, one of those choices that caught the whole fan base off guard. Bianca was marginalized in the midst of all of this. Reports differed as to whether the injury was to her thumb or finger, but it was severe enough to keep her out of commission for months. From there, her 2025 took a totally different turn. Since then, she has occasionally appeared on television, most notably in episodes with Jade Cargill and Naomi. However, she hasn't received the attention we've grown accustomed to. And a peculiar dynamic has resulted from that absence. Bianca has been one of the most dependable and noticeable WWE talents for the past few years. In addition to being one of the company's most significant female babyfaces, she is also one of the most significant stars overall, regardless of gender. She has been promoted as a WWE crossover face and is a symbol of athleticism, charisma, and motivation. Fans have found it odd that she hasn't played that part for a large portion of 2025, and Bianca herself must have been frustrated. Fans began to buzz when her spouse, tag team star and husband, Montez Ford, recently performed an interview and fueled an existing argument. The topic was a more interesting, long-term query rather than her injury status or anticipated return date. Is Bianca Belair going to turn heel at any point? Could she change her identity and pursue a more sinister career in professional wrestling? Fans have been wondering how she may appear if she ever switched sides, despite her immense popularity, thus this has been a matter of discussion for a while. Technically speaking, Bianca had a brief stint in NXT as a heel. However, she had not yet fully matured into the performer and superstar she is today, and that was very early in her career. She has been positioned nearly completely as a top-level babyface on the main roster during her prime period. Fans refer to her as the EST of WWE, the hardest, fastest, strongest, and most successful competitor who motivates young audiences with her optimism and self-assurance. The question that naturally arises is whether she could actually alter that. Would she be able to play a heel convincingly and be good at it? According to Montez Ford, she most certainly could. In the end, he claimed, fans will still rock with her because she is talented enough to excel in any character, whether it is babyface or heel. The conversation takes on a new dimension with that endorsement. Upon reflection, Bianca Belair is capable of turning heel. With the correct creative guidance, practically anything is achievable in professional wrestling. However, how it would function and what it may seem like are more crucial factors than if she could. It would take a conscious and comprehensive change if WWE and Bianca ever agreed to move forward with it. Bayley's heel turn in 2019 is among the best illustrations of how to carry out this type of move. Prior to it, Bayley found herself in a similar predicament as Bianca. For years, she had been a pure babyface, renowned for her vibrant hues, cheerful personality, and healthy bond with her followers. However, her act had become stale by 2019. A change was required because she wasn't connecting in the same way. She didn't just slightly alter her character when she turned heel, she completely changed it. Everything altered, including her appearance, presentation, promotions, entrance, and music. She changed her haircut, replaced the bright, cheery colors with darker ones, and transformed into someone entirely different. That degree of dedication was what made the turn successful and ultimately made Bayley one of the most successful heels in the WWE. Bianca Belair would have to take a very similar action if she were ever to follow this path. Her current presentation is centered on athleticism, positivism, and dazzling, colorful design. Her music is lively and energizing, her clothing is colorful, and her promotions are frequently confident but never haughty. She'd need to rework all of that if she wanted to be a convincing heel. She would have to switch to darker, more menacing hues for her equipment. Even though her present theme is among the most well-liked in WWE, her entrance song would probably need to be changed. However, maintaining such a positive, fan-friendly music would undermine the message if the intention is to signify a real transition. Bianca would have to give up her favorite entrance music for something new, just as Bayley did. She would also need to change the way she presents herself in the ring. She is currently an athletic marvel that thrills people with her amazing strength and quickness. By overpowering opponents in a way that highlights her superiority rather than her inspiration, she may use that same athleticism as a heel and portray it as something more conceited and destructive. It is possible to twist the EST persona. It might be interpreted as conceit, Bianca showing off that she is the best, the quickest, the strongest, and that no one else can match her, rather than as an attempt to motivate followers. That small change in perspective can have a huge impact. Taking into account the reactions of fans would be an additional intriguing perspective. It's difficult to visualize whole arenas jeering at Bianca because she is so well liked. However, history has demonstrated that the most successful heels can occasionally be the same persons that supporters adore the most. Consider Becky Lynch's 2018 turn. Although her attitude changed and she was eventually accepted by the public as the man, her fans still adored her. Or think about Roman Reigns. His career was revived as he turned heel and became the tribal chief, after years of being shunned by fans as a babyface. Bianca might fall into the same scenario, where fans love her enough to react enthusiastically despite her being a heel, keeping her at the forefront of WWE programming. The issue of stories is another. Who would Bianca feud with if she went heel? There are a lot of powerful babyfaces in the women's division in WWE at the moment. The cast includes Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Bayley in her babyface role again, Naomi, Jade Cargill, and of course, Rhea Ripley, a multifaceted character that fans adore despite being portrayed as a heel. Bianca, a dominating heel, may be a fantastic counterpoint to any of them. Imagine her as a vicious champion who is defying anyone to steal the Women's World Championship. Bianca and her opponents may both be elevated by that kind of heel reign. This leads us to the main question: what makes this heel turn valuable? Because even the biggest stars require a change from time to time. As a babyface, Bianca has already achieved a great deal. She has won the Royal Rumble, competed in the main event at WrestleMania, and won numerous titles. She runs the risk of her character becoming stale over time if she keeps going in the same direction without making any changes. A heel change might give her a new look, offer her character new depth, and keep her followers interested for years to come. It would also put her adaptability to the test. Bianca is currently regarded as one of the WWE's most complete performers. However, proving that she can successfully function as both a heel and a babyface would solidify her reputation even more. The real great wrestlers, such as Stone Cold and The Rock, Becky Lynch, John Cena, and Steve Austin have all demonstrated the ability to play both sides of the argument when necessary. Bianca would join even more prestigious company if she made that leap. There are dangers, of course. WWE would need to be totally committed to the concept and not question it. Without retreating out of concern for declining public appeal or good sales, they would have to let Bianca to embrace the darker aspects of her persona. However, there is a huge upside potential. Bianca Belair, a dominating heel, has the potential to emerge as one of the most interesting characters in modern wrestling.